Hello, I'm Peter Stewart and I'm from Aberdeen, Scotland. Because there's many Aberdeens, did you know that?
No, we will shortly. You can tell us shortly. Hello, Maria.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maria from Ontario, Canada. Nice to be here.
And hello to my friend. Hello, Nick.
Hello, everybody. Nick here from Farnborough, Hampshire. Not to be confused with Farnborough in Kent. There is a little village called Farnborough in Kent.
Okay.
Apparently, so small you'd never notice it. Apparently, it's not the home of or the birthplace of British aviation, unlike Farnborough in Hampshire.
Brilliant. Okay. Has anybody heard from Marco?
He said he might not be able to join us today.
Yep.
All right. Okay. I am just checking. Yeah. Okay.
I knew I was coming.
Yeah.
It could be a connection piece.
He gave up a seat for Peter.
Yeah.
He said, I won't get a word in edgeways.
There's not room for both of you.
Before we get into the main topic of the day, can I ask a supplementary question? Raise your hand if you actually watch television news or read newspapers.
A little, yeah, kind of half and half.
Right, okay. Fine. I was just, we'll come back to that. So, our topic this week is in two parts. And basically, what is the most uplifting thing happening in the world right now? And what is the most tragic thing? You know, speaking with Harper before we started, we're going to go with the tragic one first and then go around again with the uplifting. Okay. So, at the moment, in your mind, what is the most tragic thing that's happening around us? And if there are no volunteers, I'll go to Peter.
Okay. Well, obviously, you know that I'm an avid news watcher and newspaper reader. I buy 3 newspapers a day. And obviously, it's very, very tragic to see what's happening in Afghanistan at the moment. The way that, I'm getting an echo, the way that President Biden has pulled out of the country and leaving a lot of people vulnerable and his own citizens vulnerable and UK citizens vulnerable and probably a lot more people vulnerable, Afghanistani interpreters vulnerable, and the woman that they've left in the country who I feel life is going to change for them.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the country has a new parliament, a new government, and comes under Sharia law, things are going to change. And I just want to correct one point, though. I'm not going to do this often during the program, but the decision to leave Afghanistan was taken in February 2020 by President Trump. That set the wheels in motion. That was a decision that made what's happened possible. And the thing is that both the UK government, the US government, the whole of the EU didn't, within the 18-month timescale which they knew about, actually have a plan which they could follow. Harper.
Yeah, I think I mean, I don't watch the news, but I'm connected with so many military people. I'm hearing they're reading their responses and stuff on Facebook. And I think I've never been a fan of, I've been in combat a few times, and I've never been a fan of having media along with us. So I don't think that everybody needs to see what we see when we're in combat. But that being said, we have become a world where everybody wants to know everything. And so the withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan, regardless of the country, should never be broadcasted. We're going to be out by this date. And the reason is because this is exactly what happens. They know exactly our plan.
Yeah.
The Taliban took over Afghanistan without a fight.
Yeah.
They took over the whole country without a fight. All they did is they followed the troops out. From what I don't know the accuracy of it or whatever, but from what I understand, our president here in the U.S. Didn't tell the Taliban stop or anything. All they said is, please don't attack our embassy. So, yeah, I kind of have a problem with that. But again, I don't know if it's true or not. That's just what I'm reading on Facebook. But I mean, I don't think that any kind of withdrawal or any of that kind of stuff should be broadcasted, because I know that the world watches our news more than the American citizens. Everybody knows what we're doing. And it's all because the people have a right to know. Well, to a certain extent, you don't need to know everything. I don't think that anybody's position is to take on every problem. That's why we elect people. That's why we have people in certain positions. It's their job to deal with that. We don't take on the stress of how our government is ran. We just elect the people to go in there and do it. If we don't like the way they're doing it, then the next election we put somebody else in. Yeah. But I think we're broadcasting way too much stuff out to the world, and obviously the Taliban watches everybody's news to know when they're leaving. I thought one of the worst things that I've seen in almost 21 years was the people clinging to the outside of that C-17 aircraft as it was trying to take off. Last time we saw something like that was in 2001 when people were jumping out of the World Trade Center as it was collapsing. So, yeah, I think that is definitely one of the most tragic things going on right now. So,
yeah, I'd echo that, and also it makes me. Did you do tours out there?
I was never in Afghanistan.
Never Afghanistan. This is the thing. It's like when all this kicked off in 2001 after the 9/11 thing, and I was contracted. Then I was out in Germany providing healthcare for the British forces out there. And the thing that that struck us was that it wasn't supposed to be a big long drawn out game. It was always supposed to be fairly quick, and then they got diverted to then let's go and have a bit of regime change in Iraq while we're there. And it just seems to me that the whole thing, well, I said at the time, I used to say, and I used to get absolutely crucified because the military, quite rightly, are very, very proud of what they do, and they're very very defensive of when they're tasked with something. They don't like anyone saying, well, don't you dare say it's a bad idea. We're keeping peace and anti-terror. But to see all the we have just under 500 British service people were killed, but it was 5 times that number were coming back with life-changing disability. I'm sorry, but the standing joke was, we're going to have one hell of a Paralympic team. It was,
yes, very sad.
But this whole escapade was completely bonkers in the first place. It was all about oil and saber rattling. Bush, Blair made an absolute fortune. I think they're the ones with blood on their hands. And every time we do something like this, we always have to have a pull out and exit strategy. And whoever thought this exit strategy was a good idea also needs shooting. And that's not just the previous US government, it's the current US government, it's the British government. It wasn't rocket science. You could see I half raised my hand about reading papers and watching TV news. I made a decision on February the 4th, 2020, never to watch the news again. And every now and again, I just see a little bit here and there, normally when something crazy kicks off. And I did just happen to see this thing about, a few days ago when they were saying, the Taliban are coming back in, but, they're not going to get to Kabul for another 30 days. And I said to Debbie, well, it's probably about 3 days in reality. And lo and behold, that's exactly it. Why do they think that the Afghan force was ever going to put up a struggle? Because they've already lost tens of thousands of people, and it's an end game. There's nothing to defend. So I just think our respective governments have blood on their hands, and will we ever? And I do think we should be holding them to account. If it was any other regime going in and affecting regime change, we would be screaming from the rooftops about it and wanting them to face retribution. So that's it's tragic.
Yeah, there was a debate in Parliament today until Nick comes back, talking about Afghanistan and telling everybody, bring everybody up to date, bring our parliamentarians up to date, and then everybody gets a chance to talk in the Commons. And all the speeches that were made were not in favour of the government. They all thought, without everybody was of the same opinion, that this has been mishandled. And at the end of the session, the opposition get a chance to actually close their part of the debate, and it was damning, the list of things that the government had not done. What our government announced yesterday in reaction to what was going on was they were going to double the aid budget to Afghanistan to $468 million, so nearly $500 million. Okay. What they conveniently forgot was that back in March, they actually halved the budget. So, in other words, they've not done anything at all. Okay. Any thoughts, Chris?
Well, I think the same. This Afghanistan is the most problematic situation on the world this time, and I think that there is politically a mistake. People have thought that it is easy and that you can't giving support always. So some actions must end, but they have taken the mistake that there are traditions and that it's a very isolated country. So you can't do that. And there are also great differences between Kabul and the regions around, which are not so civilized, and the terrorists and the Taliban have just waited to the opportunity to take revenge. What they will do now, we don't know. They say that they will be not so difficult as the first attacks. But that also that people and women can go to school. That was the first time not. I hope it will be better, but it's a great risiko. It's also a risiko for terror attacks here in Belgium and in the Western countries. So we don't know. The future will decide what it will become.
Yeah, I agree, because one of the things that really upsets the U.S. military is that is all the military assets, the helicopters, all armament, the firearms, all that kind of stuff that were given to the Afghan National Army to protect themselves, and they used none of it. So now the Taliban is fully armed. They have 166 Black Hawk helicopters. I mean, we couldn't have set them up any better. So that's one of the big things in the military groups here in the U.S. is that they're really upset about is we just gave these people a full supply of everything to attack anybody within range of that helicopter. So now they can do RPGs from a helicopter, So
yeah.
One of the things is, where's the president with the suitcases of dollars? And if we were troops on the ground, and we didn't get paid, we didn't get the equipment that we were meant to have, we didn't get the backup. Do you know what I would do as well? I'd say, here, take that, I'm off ski. Because I wouldn't do it either. In fact, there's a thing in the British Army, refusing to soldier. I'm not soldiering anymore, not for this government. And it's not until you're out the forces you can see what's going on and say, no, I'm not doing it. Jail me, fine, call me a coward, do it. And that's the problem. Now, going back to the press, I think the press have got a lot to answer for. Backing up the lies, blatant lies of politics. This won't happen. We have given them 300,000 troops trained. We've given them equipment. Kabul will not fall. No, because they didn't have to fall. They walked away, and the Taliban moved in. And there's a lot of news correspondents having to eat humble pie now. And what you say from a couple of years ago is all coming back. And the Democrats are starting to implode. They're starting to implode. Today, one at Fox News Channel, the guy on there, Sean Hannity, says, Kamala Harris, the vice president, hasn't been seen for a week. Where is she? Where is she backing up her president? And I'll tell you something else. President Biden done his speech, and then he got out that room as fast as he could. I would have had the last say and said, Mr. President Trump used to answer questions. Can't you? But no, he ran away like a scared rat.
We have to be careful. We want to stay on air, Peter, and I can't bring balance into that. So let's draw a line. Maria, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a tragedy. And when, we're all set up, okay? We were in a shadow government. What we see going on are puppets in big positions. Behind them is the shadow government, and the shadow government tells them what they have to say and what they have to do. And they're playing the politics against each other. And Harper, when I saw the poor people hanging on to the plane, as it was going up, I really know you're gonna laugh at this, but how sad it was. In 1968, I think it was 1968, when they pulled out, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, when they pulled out of Vietnam, that same scenario was going on, the very same thing. And I thought, oh my God, this goes on and on and on. And what I would love to see, and really, as a historian, once upon a time, the leaders of the countries would fight each other. Why don't we see them go into battle? Let me see what the front lines. You go right in the front, like Alexander the Great did, like Julius Caesar did. Go and fight each other and leave the other people alone. Because if you don't have enough guts and the strength to become a leader, and that's what part of the leader is supposed to be, is not this political jargon and all this stuff that's going on. Once upon a time, real leaders were real leaders, and they stood up for what they believed in. Now it's just politics. And I feel so sorry for the people, because they were abandoned, and they are being abandoned in every country. Every time we have someone going into their country and saying we're helping you out. No, they're helping themselves out because they have some sort of resources that the other power wants. That's what the whole story is about. And as a woman, it's very sad as a woman to see this, because the children and the women and the poor people and the seniors are going to suffer and get killed. you know, and it's so wrong the way they did it, but they keep doing it everywhere all over the world. And I'm so, like, if I watch anything on TV, it's on YouTube and there's news, and I don't want to watch more than 3 or 4 minutes, but I know what's going on because it comes through Facebook all the time, and it comes through MSN.
Yeah.
And I'm reading it there, right? So I don't have to buy a newspaper and waste my money paying people that are getting paid by the government to lie to us, because that's all I'm seeing right now, right? That's why I go into many other channels, because maybe we'll have some sort of truth coming out. But I do see it because it's being repeated time and time and time again, year after year after year. And it's the same thing. Money is all that they're after, and they will take all the resources of every single country there is, and they will abandon the people, and that's the end of it. You know. Then we go to the next one. What's the next one? You know. So I'm very emotional about this, and I just, you know, I'm a senior now, and I've seen so much in all these years, and all I want to do is have peace in my life and just keep going and try and help as much as I can by sharing my information. But you know, not everyone's going to listen or doesn't have the background that I've had in watching all this through all these years. So that's how I feel about it, Stephen. Great topic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, it emboldens other nations to do their own thing. I mean, Russia's got history. You know, China seems to be lurking. What is it? What is the message we've just sent the world? And I, you know, and I'm including the UK and the US in this together.
I think now we should see we've done all we can, and that's why President Trump wanted out, but he wanted it probably more orderly than it is. So we've done a bit for you. Now I think.
Hang on, Peter. What did we do for them?
No, but you know, we tried to whatever we done. We got the kids back in schools, the women's schools. Now it is up to Arab coalitions. Sort it out, and don't attack us. Don't attack the West, because if you do, Trump said this, if you do, we'll be back bigger than ever. And you warned the Taliban, and one soldier was killed, and that stopped any further negotiations. Was you aware of that?
No, but you know, there's no way we're going to, you know, if we're going to go back in there after pulling out like this, and you know, then anyone that makes it should be.
We're not going back. I could tell you that.
No.
Because it's not going to be the same. You're not going to get any new benefit. They've already seen you retreat, so it's like, you know. But you know, Maria, you talked about, you know, as a woman, it hurts to, you know what, it hurts as a man to see women and children being in a combat area, let alone you know, being subject to it. But yeah, I always have a problem with the U.S. or the Western world going in, taking, you know, trying to get rid of a dictator. We did it with Iraq. Get rid of a dictator and then try to make it a Western government. It's not a Western. It's not a Western society, so you can't make a Western. They don't have the knowledge that we have in order to have the government. So you have to let them get their own kind of government. You know, but you can't sit there and go, okay, we're going to make a democracy, you know, type of government for this. Well, their societies. Saddam was in power since '72. Most of their generation, that's active adults, don't even know what you know, diplomacy is. They've lived under a dictatorship. So it's like, you know, it's the same thing with Cuba. We can't go down into Cuba and go, all right, here you go. We're going to set you up with a president. You guys can vote and everything else. They have no idea what that is.
No, that's right.
He was in power since '59. You know, so it's like,
but yeah, same with Gaddafi, wasn't it? Yeah, that played out so badly. You know, and I don't know why we get these crazy notions. And you know, our governments, you know, that's what I was really angry with at the time, was the fact that, you know, when we had a, you know, Labour government, and then you know, you'd think, come on, someone bit of politics, but the whole house was decided, no, this is a good thing to do. We need to go into Afghanistan and then go into Iraq, and it's just so
Yeah. Then they bought shares of the companies that were going in to help.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, of course.
There was a whole ton of
follow the money. Follow
Yeah.
the money.
Yeah.
Just the money. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the other thing too, Harper, is that it has they have pre-decided what was going to happen. They didn't leave all the armaments by accident. It
No.
was left there by design. Okay, we don't know what kind of dirty deals are going on behind. I don't trust any politician anymore from what I'm seeing now. Right? They didn't leave that just by chance. That was set up, and no one was going to fight against it because there was nothing to fight. It was the Americans that were fighting whatever, whomever else from the Commonwealth would come and help or whatever else. But it was all set up by design. Everybody says, oh, how did this happen? It was set up. They knew exactly when they were going to leave. They knew exactly who were they going to take, who they're going to leave behind, and what armaments they were going to leave. This is the same thing they do time and time and time again. But so it's set up by design, Set up by design.
Yeah.
Was there any? What's the next thing, Stephen? Happy news.
Yeah.
Happy news.
Let's switch over, shall we?
Yep.
Can I say a less controversial tragedy, but equally something I think is tragic at the moment, is poor Haiti. I mean, I don't know what that nation has done wrong in its existence, but
that's
it is
the second one. Yeah.
But, if it gets earthquakes, it's going to be in Haiti, and then it gets followed up by tropical storms and
hurricanes and
hurricanes, and you think, oh, those poor people, how they survive and how they
yes, and it's a poor nation too.
Yeah.
I think that's Kamala. I think that's what Kamala Harris is working on just now. I think that's what she said. Yeah.
Are they going to go and help again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think regime change in Haiti will help.
They helped years ago, didn't they?
Yeah.
All right.
I was going to say something there. I'm biting my tongue.
Happy news. We need happy news.
I'm on LinkedIn.
What is happy going on in the world? I don't watch news, and nothing happy goes on Facebook. So,
what can we celebrate? Do we celebrate the Olympics?
No. Did the Olympics happen, by the way? Was there something going on or something?
You missed our last show.
Actually, I've got to admit, I was not in favour of. I thought it was a crazy idea to have the Olympics in Japan when they're going through all this. COVID. But I have to say, it appears that everything worked well. Obviously, it did. I think it did. Was uplifting to the nation. Gave us all something to cheer and support. And so I'm glad it went ahead. I'm now surprised that they've cancelled the Grand Prix in Japan. But but no, I was really pleased. I was happy to say I got that one wrong. I thought it was going to be a disaster, but it seems to have worked out really well. And obviously, we had one of the best Olympics we ever had. So what's not to love? And Jim Fox, the modern pentathlon guy, when I was talking about seeing the gold medal back in 1976, it was Jim Fox that came. He was a team captain, came to my school.
Very good. I've had some good news. It's uplifting. Well, it's not uplifting, it's downlifting. It's downfalling, actually. But it's in a good way. Do you know what it might be?
Well, I have some good news, and this I find very uplifting. And the rise of cryptocurrency. I don't know if you're into it or know anything about it, but I've really been studying it for the past 3 months. And what's happening? Why I'm excited about it again is because this is a way that everyone can become their own bank. They can own their own assets, and also use it as a store of value and use it as real estate. So you don't have to buy a house anymore, that nonsense that goes between countries, but it's a store of value. So your money is safe also. It can be anonymous. The other thing that I'm happy about, why I'm happy, is because El Salvador actually lost their money completely. They had lost all power of their money. They've actually taken on Bitcoin, which is one of the first cryptocurrencies that came out in 2008. And so they're using it for their money where they will have more buying power. The other one that's thinking of coming up is Argentina. And as we know, Argentina has just been a disaster economically. So I can see that with cryptocurrency, and unless you really go and study it, you really don't understand, because I didn't understand a thing about it. I heard about it probably 10 years ago. And I used to go to meetings and I used to sit there and I just couldn't wrap my head around it. But I've been really intensely going into it and listening to people, experts, founders of these cryptocurrencies. And now I'm starting to understand. So I can see that as helping raise the standard of living in Africa, in South America. So we don't have to rely so much on the US dollar anymore. Maybe, like let's start getting away from, if we can. But even if you use the US dollar as a form of currency, but you're using Bitcoin, which no one can stop you from using. No one can charge you 30% to even have your money out of the bank. I want to tell you something, that when people send, like, let's say people in Canada or US send their money to third world countries, let's say. Well, what they say, there's thugs outside the door waiting that you have to pay 20 to 30% to them before they'll even let you in there to get the money. So with cryptocurrency, you don't need anybody. You can get the money through your computer and you can buy goods with it. So I can see there's going to be a leveling field now happening, and I'm very excited by all of this. And I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be going into the market myself. But that's for myself. That I can see being a really good asset for the ordinary folk and for these poor countries that have been raped from all their assets and are left with nothing, or because they don't follow certain political lines, like Argentina, are just deflated, completely deflated. Their money's not worth anything. So that's the good side of this, I'm happy to say. So my heart is feeling a little bit better after hearing about Afghanistan, that there is hope. And I always need
I hope everything comes to pass, and that the countries which currently rely on the dollar or on the euro can actually rely on BitCurrency. But as we know, BitCurrency, you can hold a $10 bill in your hand, you can hold a £10 note in your hand, you can't hold Bitcoin in your hand.
Yeah.
It's all on computer. So
Yeah.
my Bitcoin story of the week, which has got an ending which you can almost expect. A hacker.
That was my thought.
Yeah, I know. He did that on purpose, right? He did that on purpose to teach them a lesson. He was a friendly hacker.
Well, he turned out to be friendly. He didn't have to be. He hacked $600 million.
Yep. Yeah.
And there's a goodwill gesture. He gave them back 360 million.
Yeah.
Then he returned the 240 million. And this week he's been given a job.
Oh, so, has he?
He's
probably a security.
Last night.
Yeah, for security guy.
For sure, right? Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Right. Now, you got a very good point there, Maria, about particularly, and this is when part of what I do is the philanthropy program. And the reason it was working really well and has worked really well is because we used Bitcoin in order to as an international currency, so everyone could use it. And we're literally now just we're just in the process. Hopefully, we today, but we not just Bitcoin, we'll have USDT, and then 2 weeks later we'll have any cryptocurrency can be used as well. So there is that to it, but of course it does fluctuate, and it's still quite volatile. So
you know, Nick,
but I believe as well it's only going to go one way.
Well, it is. And Nick, you know what? I look at this like real estate. So rather than me putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into a property that will take years for me to get my money back, even with the inflation, right? Cryptocurrency, you sit on it. Like if you're playing the market, that's that's different. Just like if you want to speculate or become a fix and flipper in real estate. Okay, there's three types of investors: long hold, like which has have been my investment strategy since 2000, right? Then the ones who are playing the market, like the stock market, and the ones that are fixing and flipping. So you decide which one you are. So what someone could do is put money into their account that they want to hold on to because they know it's a good asset, right? Certainly Bitcoin is a really good asset. There's a couple more that I see as really good assets. And then you can start another account where you're playing around if you want to play around with it, right? But it's like playing the penny stocks, right? It's the same thing as playing the stock market. Some people, just like Warren Buffett, just holds forever. You hold until you die, right? But in the meantime, you can get money out of it. You can borrow against it. That's what I like about it, Nick, is I can borrow against it. And I know people have borrowed against their Bitcoins or Ethereum or whatever, and have actually purchased real estate with them. So that's how I see it as being used by me, right? I mean, everybody does it their own way, but I'm glad that you're using it because I didn't realize that about you, right? And I'm just getting into it now, but I've studied it enough that I understand it now. I'm not uneducated anymore. I do know which ones are the good ones, and I know which ones aren't the good ones, right? So.
Yeah, that's it. I'm no expert on the value of the currency, but I do know we use it for its use, and that's the thing. And anyone can create their own cryptocurrency.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the amusing thing is, it's like it's all decentralized, and then you got China and a couple of other countries now that have banned cryptocurrencies apart from their own. So they're centralized cryptocurrency, which totally defeats the object of the whole thing.
I know. But you know what? Like Charles Hoskinson, who is the creator of Cardano, says, he says, go to another country. Like, if you don't want us here, you won't accept us, we go to another country. Like, that's the wonderful thing, is you're not tied down with material things, right? This is in the, the blockchain is everywhere. It's just in the sky. So, I mean, and the reason they even came up with the idea of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin was because in 2008, when they had that economic downturn, and Harper would know and remember this, with the real estate market and the dirty tricks they did, this guy, Satoshi, said, you know what? I've had enough of this. He says, let's make digital currency. And that's when it came out, when he had his white paper, 2008, I think it was 2008, if I'm correct. And so that's how it started in 2008. Long process.
Yeah, and you just highlighted one of its issues is that, of course, it's up against some very wealthy vested interest, not just governments but families, that keep the banking system, traditional banking system, alive and well and very lucrative to them.
Yes, to them, not to us.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a couple of things to tell you. Right, so how I was asking, do you know what's made me happy? Something uprising. I'm actually down to a size 30 waist. The first time I've been able to buy trousers size 30 and the legs not having to be taken up and the cuttings going to Biafra,
Hang on, has this start made you grow as well?
It's 30. And you don't know what that means, Now let me tell you, another thing that's happening is we've just got our camper van ready, and I always said we used to, I can't remember the guy's name, Stephen, but there used to be a guy who made websites, and he used to come on to Blabbing for Britain, and he would actually come and meet us from his camper van. And one day, just shortly, you're going to have me sitting in my camper van, wherever I may be. Hopefully we'll get a signal. I'll make sure of a signal, and I'll be able to join you in some way from the camp van.
From your van.
Loving Britain lives on. I look forward to that.
Live in a van down by the river.
Just quickly, can you see this scene behind me?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's actually saw my live video where I went down here? Stephen did. And you did. Yeah. And did you find it interesting?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was off the cuff, and so hopefully I'll be able to do I'm now a free man again. I've got 3 other people working and I'm free to do the things I want to do now. That's
Mhm.
why I'm back, taking over here again.
I figured that out.
I like seeing you
I
run up
figured
that
that.
hill, Peter. It was
Ah.
cool.
You see me run up the hill.
Yeah.
Do you know what I've got to say? I was a very prominent businessman in Aberdeen yesterday, and he looked out and he looked over to me. He says, "Peter, you're looking great. What's happening?" I says, "Going a keto diet, mate. Low carb keto. That's what I've done." I says, "By the way, I've just bought one of your vans." No, it's been absolutely wonderful, and if people haven't. Oh, that's another thing. I'm singing Friday and I'm singing Saturday, and that's my news. I'm out there, and you were actually seeing Aberdeen brought to life again. I went out last week. Wish I hadn't, because I came ill the next day. I'd done a COVID test, but the city, as far as entertainment is, the singers are out, the karaoke bars are open, and things are changing. They have to put like a condom on the mic, for the next singer. Oh,
Yeah,
that's a family. It's a family show.
Yeah, I've got an uplifting
It-
tale, if I may.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's on Saturday, with my whole family are getting together. It's my parents' 60th wedding anniversary.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Wow. Congratulations.
Well worth celebrating. And so
Oh,
they got
absolutely.
all 4 children, all 7 grandchildren, great grandchildren, and some others as well. Because they love going cruising normally, so they've saved a fortune over the last couple of years because they couldn't go. So they're now splashing out. They've invited the world and his dog, and it's about 20 minutes drive from here, and so I said, "Oh, that's right." I said, "We'll just stay in the house. That's no problem." And they're like, "No, we've booked you a room," and they're paying for everyone's rooms, and it's a beautiful.
Wow.
Wow.
Lovely. Lovely. Lovely.
So looking forward to that. It'll be lovely.
Very good.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Enjoy, Nick. Enjoy.
Yes.
I will. Like, it's quite funny though, because a lot of my family are doctors, and they've said, "Oh, you can take your lateral flow tests." It's like, I've been double jabbed, mate. you think I'm taking one of them? I could miss it.
I've got quite a few in the house now. The Scottish Government want you to do twice a week just to check.
Yeah.
And we've even got walk-in as well.
I think the English government did as well, but I don't think anyone did.
Well, I mean, people have got the test, but we don't want to take the test in case we get the result that we're not wanting.
Really,
exactly.
Stephen, that surprises me, because you're the sort of person that does what he's told. That surprises me. I
try and do what I'm supposed to do, but I don't always succeed. But you're right about that. But I mean, we in England. I'm going very specific here, Peter. In England, we have been back to normal for a couple of weeks now, and it's just a total change of atmosphere around town. And that's my good news. Is in our area. Things are beginning to come near normal. We still we don't social distance anymore, but we do wear masks, and we can go shopping. We can go to get our hair cut. We can go to rock concerts. We can go to football matches. I mean, the joy of the weekend. There is a program on the BBC which shows all the football matches that have taken place on a Saturday.
Yeah,
and it shows them one after the other with the highlights. And to actually go to all the different stadiums and to see 60, 70,000 people watching a game of football for the first time in 18 months, it gladdens your heart, really.
Oh, it does.
I've got it. I went to the bar last week to see it. So here's the rules. You have to come in and do your hands. You have to check in. Still check in. Now, you can stand at the bar and have your drink. The singer can sing. The people can dance with masks off. But if you get up from your table to go to the toilet, you have to put your mask on and walk through all the dancers.
Interesting. That's interesting.
So you've got everybody without their masks on dancing, and then you put your mask on and when I go from the bar to the karaoke to go up and sing, I have to put my mask on to go there. It's just crazy. And,
Yeah.
and most people just aren't bothering anymore, even on the buses. You see it. And I forgot my mask the other day, and I went into the shop.
Oh,
And I went into the shop, my mask was broken. And I just went, and nobody said a word.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody said a word.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I-
I've seen a lot in shops. People, because I've been masking just
Yeah,
because I just thought it was right to do.
yeah.
But over the last couple of weeks, there's been more and more people that just aren't. It's going back to normal.
Well, I just walked into the shop today without thinking. And
Yeah.
I didn't realise I didn't have a mask on. And nobody said anything.
yes, we are used to it now.
I know.
We still have to wear masks everywhere,
I'll
except
tell you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
indoors, right
yeah.
outside. But I do it to protect myself. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. And they say even with the 2 shots, that still doesn't. It only protects you for a limited time. So
Yeah.
they can get it. Then now they need a booster shot. I mean, okay, how many more booster shots do you need?
Mm.
So I do it just to protect myself and protect others. You know, just
Well,
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I
Well,
don't want.
if we get pinged now, we don't have to isolate. We'll just go and get a PCR test as quick as we can, but we don't need to isolate anymore.
Mm-hmm. Harper.
The thing with vaccines is that the vaccine came out for the COVID thread. The Delta variant is a mutated thread. So it's that part that mutated that is not covered by a vaccine. That's the same thing with any vaccine.
Yeah.
So that's what the booster is to accommodate for that additional part. The vaccine is to pretty much prevent you from dying from it. You can
Yes.
still catch it. You can still transmit it. It's basically it's to keep you alive. That's what it is.
Yes.
It's not to say, "Poof, you're not going to get this again." That would be like saying, "Oh, I got a flu shot. I can never get the flu." Well, no, you can still get it. But that's kind of the misconception, is that I got a vaccine, I can't get it. I can't, it's like, no. It's just to keep you, keep your symptoms mild enough to help your body fight it. So
yes, that you won't die from
Yeah.
it, right?
No.
That you won't die.
Yes,
from it.
that's important.
hopefully. So
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
testing is a difficult area. And we know in the UK that people are charging more for tests than they should be doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of profiteering going on.
That's
Yeah.
what.
And
Again, money, right?
Mhm.
Money.
yeah,
Money
there's a
talks.
story. Sorry, there's a story of a family who went to Morocco on their holidays, and they knew before they could come back into the UK, they had to have a test. And they were tested, and there were 4 of them. 3 out of the 4 were negative. But they said you can't have the results for the 4th person until you've paid us another $100.
Oh,
So
Wow. Yeah.
fortunately, the young man was negative, but that's the sad story. It's
Yeah.
in
Games.
development in the UK at the moment, and should be launched soon. Is a new test where you can actually get the results in 10 minutes,
All right.
which is
Oh.
going to change. Which will change everything, because people having to get a test so many hours before you travel, get a test so many hours before you travel back. If you've got a 10-minute test, then it's readily available.
Yeah.
Then that would be a game changer.
Do you know? Have you thought who is the main people that are going to benefit from this whole situation? Have you give thought to that?
Pharmaceutical companies.
One, right?
course.
They are certainly.
Pharmaceutical
The
companies.
anybody else? Well, I'll tell you who's going to do it well a little bit.
Psychologist.
Stand-up comedians. They're going to have so much
Yeah.
material
There you go.
to go on the stage with, talking about the mask police and the fights in the queues and everything like that. Right back to the front. They'll be working on their material right now. But we've got sad news in Britain. There's a guy, Sean Locke, has passed away. You know that?
I think
Yes.
Yeah, Sean Locke, a comedian. He's died at
He's not very old.
58.
58.
No, it's 58. 58.
Yeah.
wow.
I'm surrounded. It was my friend gave me the news. I was waiting for it, and his partner has passed away, and my next door neighbour is a year older than me. He's passed away. It's just crazy. I'm having nightmares. I keep seeing an undertaker leaning over me. It's your time, Peter. Aye, that'll be right, I said. You nearly got me 4 years on your bike.
The only thing we can do is make the most of every day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you know something?
You've got two choices, and hopefully health, given that health is good, you have two choices. You can either be an optimist or a pessimist.
Yes.
There are no half measures.
Well, it made me reach a stage with the business. You know, I'm scared to make a move, and I always go back to soldiers. And you're a World War soldier. You're sitting in that trench. Your whistle blows, and you've got to go over the top. You've got to go over the. And I just decided I'm going over the top. I never thought I'd be buying 4 new vans and extra staff and everything. What's the worst that can happen to me now? Get COVID and die.
It's not going to happen, Peter. In actual fact, just want to come back. The benefit. I mean, I love getting together on a Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, for the very reason that we get together and we have a chat about topics of interest to us, and we talk about each other and we help each other. But I've followed Peter's journey for the last 6.5 years through live video. And I can tell you every well, I could if I look back. I could tell you every twist and turn of what's happened in the last 6.5 years. It's like, absolutely amazing, the value of video.
It's been up and down. Yeah.
Oh yes.
I have some uplifting news from Belgium.
Oh,
yay!
And it's also Corona related. During Corona, we had 20% more people that needed psychological help. And that was very expensive here in Belgium. The psychologists are asking much money, $50-$60 euros per hour. And for most of the people, that's not possible to do that. And now the new Minister of Health has decided that they can have a psychologist on €11 per hour. So that's good. That's doing. People can do that. And there will be also no more waiting lists, because now psychologists couldn't live from those advices when there are not much people that can afford it. Then it wasn't possible. But with the new system, we think that the waiting lists will be gone, and I hope it.
Is the government actually subsidising the money that they were charging before?
I don't think so. We have a healthcare system with mutualities, and they are subsidizing something, but not for psychological help.
But if I was a psychologist,
only for medical help.
If I was a psychologist and I was making 50-60 euros an hour, and all of a sudden it was down to 11, I wouldn't be a happy man for government. Because I'm a profession. So what did they say about it?
They're taking psychological advice.
I think what happens, because in Canada everything's covered under OHIP, okay, and excuse me, by province and federally. But I think what happens is they make that amount of money, they just shove more people in an hour. I mean, that's what's happening with doctors. It's like that. Make $25 an hour or something. So they shove a number of people, maybe it's gone up since then, but they shove a number of people that they can see in an hour. And now what happened during COVID is everything was done over the phone, which was fantastic. So they were still making money, they were still helping us. But and we could still get our medication. Even that's covered, and especially if you're a senior, most of it's covered anyways. So our medical system was able to go forward despite COVID, and certainly it has shown that we don't necessarily have to go to their office unless they need to do a physical. That we can just talk to them over the phone, and they still make money.
Yeah.
I have always said, even before this, I think Stephen brought me many years ago, why go all the way to the doctors and sit with people that are spreading diseases and sneezing in front of you when you can see the doctor online? But my practice, they couldn't get it together as far as video conferences. It's not helping. You want to do? They could not.
I agree. I agree, Peter. I said that years ago, like you, because my mom and dad, my mom had a hard time walking. I thought, this is dumb. I have to take her there. She's in pain to see the friggin' doctor. Why can't we just do it over the phone or, do it through Zoom or something? I mean, like, I thought about that 10 years ago, and I thought, why are we, this is so crazy. But this has forced a lot of and Stephen, you're so much into the video part of it, and Nick also, is that this has forced the hand of people that we don't necessarily have to see each other. We can still conduct business. We can still get good health care by online. We don't have to do this nonsense.
I'm even doing it with Pest to say, where are you? Put on your camera, show me. That's a bed bug. That's this. That's that. That's that. Don't even have to leave here.
That's what I do. That's what I do with my rentals. If they say to me something's happening, I say, take a video of it, take a photo, send it to me. Why do we have to go and spend my time, my valuable time, for nonsense? You take the time. You want us to fix it. You take those photographs. So I do it for my rental. Same thing. And the other thing that I do too is I check on everyone on social media. So if somebody sends me requests and they're on Facebook, I can check them out right away if they're the right people that I want in my home. I don't have to talk. I see it. So, if we can only start using more of the things that are there, all these tools that are fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah.
Right. At this point, I would normally be saying, Marco, it's over to you, but I can't do that. There's no Marco. Just something I want to tell you about. Well, I want to tell Nick, really, but make it an open secret. I've been looking at a product this week called Speedify. It's all one word.
You were talking about this in your video earlier this week.
That's right. Yeah. Occasionally, we have problems with our internet. One of us, at least, has problems with their internet. And Speedify allows you to use your internet and the internet of everybody who's in the premises with you. So you can take the internet, Wi-Fi, you can take your mobile phone, you can take your partner's mobile phone, you can take your kid's mobile phone. Speedify puts it into one signal so that everybody else can be quiet, but your broadcast will be perfect. Just saying.
Wow. I love that.
Free? Is it free?
I don't think so.
That's a fair question, Peter, and the honest answer is no, it's not. But in terms of being able to broadcast perfectly,
I laugh with Stephen is, every time I buy something, Stephen comes on next week with something else.
Yeah, I know that. Me too. No, I only like so much. I'm overwhelmed.
Right, okay. I'm just saying, check it out. Check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I wrote it down.
I did too. Yeah. But Peter's absolutely right. Stephen solved the issue of streaming into 2 Amazon channels at the same time.
Yes.
But it involves buying Restream.
And we don't have Restream.
Stephen, we'll get that interview done shortly. You know what amazed me? I was looking at my website clicks to see where people are going. And there's a couple of one, a couple, I think. The live production website page.
So that's people want to see you live on your website, Peter.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to get that into. I've got the time to do that interview down, and we'll get that done sooner or later.
Yeah, all of us will. All of us will.
Right. From Peter in Aberdeen. from Harper in Arizona, from Chris in St. Nicholas,
Thank you.
from Nick in which one of the Farnboroughs are you in? The big one or the little one?
I'm in the big one, Farnborough,
The
Hampshire.
good Farnborough.
Birthplace of
Maria in Canada. It's goodbye from us. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye,
Take care.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.